Hi there, my name is Kevin Falk. I am an integrated field scientist at Corteva Agriscience. I've been with Corteva for less than 2 years. Prior to Corteva, I was doing my PhD at Iowa State University, and prior to that, I've had jobs in both the public and private sector in research and industry, as well as a independent contract research organization known as ICMS. You may know it. But today I wanted to talk to you about how I leveraged my video hobby into a research and communications tool. I made this slide about a year ago to highlight how, with the pandemic, video is going to be more important than ever before. And I don't think I needed a crystal ball to see what has happened this past year. I actually had my first baby last April, and many of her relatives only know her through a screen, through FaceTime or meetings in Zoom meetings over Christmas. And Zoom has grown to over 300 million users. Teams has grown to over 150 million daily users, and it's been crazy. I joined YouTube back in 2007 when everybody was joining YouTube because it was the hot new thing, and I didn't use it all that much. But lately, because everybody has a camera phones and it's gotten easier to record and edit video, I've found myself using YouTube a whole lot more, just searching different things that I need in my personal life, my professional life, or my academic life. And if you want to meet people, you need to meet them virtually, whether it be your customers, the people that you work with. So to paraphrase The Mandalorian, video is the way. So here's a brief highlight reel of how I've leveraged my video hobby in my research. And most of this was taken from my time at Iowa State. One of the major technologies that I found fascinating and that led me to return to university to pursue my PhD was plant phenotyping. Throughout my PhD, I explored many different projects that utilize capturing of images and video of plants as tools to extract data. But as you can see, it was more than just taking images of plants. I was able to see how plants grew, how they changed and developed over time. I was able to reconstruct 3D imagery or 3D models from plants from these images, as well as monitoring the individuals that helped me to assess their production rate. Plant phenomics technology is racing ahead, making new strides every year. Now, Corteva has been a leader in drone phenotyping for nearly 10 years. However, drones for data is just one aspect. Individuals from researchers to sales managers have been using drones for years now to capture cool imagery that can be used in field tours and other things. These images shown here are 3D reconstruction and were collected during my time at Iowa State University using a DJI Matrice 600 drone and Pix 4D software. So I tend to be forgetful, and I spend a lot of time trying to remember how to do a particular task on my computer, especially if it's intricate. And especially I've been out in the field all summer and I've come back. For these short tasks, I end up just recording myself, talking to my computer, taking a screen capture of what I did, and then I could come back later and watch the recording of myself and just bring myself up to speed. This started mainly with computer-related tasks, but also then developed into protocols and other field trial tasks as well. So what initially was just me showing myself how to do stats or how to write code or how to do different Excel hacks led to me putting it online in my YouTube channel, more or less as a safe repository to store it. But the YouTube community found it, and there was more interest and some requests to make other videos of similar subject matter. And so then I started making deliberate videos for my YouTube channel. It ended up being the fastest growing corner of my YouTube channel, just making these little statistical or plant breeding type videos. So more and more people are searching YouTube just to find a video that helps them unclog a toilet or start a lawnmower after a long winter. And I do that too. But when I search the internet and I can't find on YouTube what I want to see or what I want to figure out, I end up doing it myself and film myself doing it. And then I put it up on YouTube so I can help the next person. And I did this with, in particular here, where I fixed my drone gimbal and I replaced the camera and the gimbal, and I put that video up on YouTube, and now it's my most viewed YouTube video. So along those same lines, I would sometimes strap my GoPro to my forehead to capture or document how I conducted my research. These videos came in really handy when training new undergraduate students that would help me perform these tasks. I didn't always have to be there to show them how to do it. I could just say, hey, here's a link to my YouTube video, go watch it. And I didn't have to kind of hold their hand through that training process. It was really helpful. So animations can really bring presentations to life. I think I started this when I realized that these 3D scatterplot graphs wouldn't stay 3D when I exported them to an image, right? It would just be a 2D image. So I decided I could just record the screen and spin that 3D graph around within the software and then just present that video of this 3D graph spinning around. Likewise with the roots, those are just pictures of the same root from different angles, and I uploaded it into a Giphy maker, or a GIF maker online, in which it took the different pictures and strung them together 1 second at a time. You export it, and now you have this GIF, and it's this little animation. It was actually quite easy. Generating footage, whether that be images or video, can be really helpful down the road. Recently, I created a Corteva highlight video of the 2020 summer of all our field activities as an advertisement to reach out to new interns or summer students for 2021. It worked out great, generating over 250 views. And we got all our summer students and interns for next year. I've made an effort just to pull out my camera and get footage of different conferences or field days or tours that I attend. Afterwards, if I have time, I put together a little highlight reel. Now, when you're standing in a conference room in January, it can be very difficult to bring your audience to the field. But with today's technology, it's really not that difficult. You just have to remember to take that video or those images at the time so you can save it for later. Next, I want to share a little bit of my learnings from this past year and how I've been able to leverage my experience in video and photography to create a virtual tour experience. So growing up in the 90s, my family had an old video camera like this. The picture quality was terrible and the battery life lasted less than 5 minutes, but it was so novel. And I remember my friends and I making videos all the time. But now we all have a video camera in our back pocket and we have a video studio, and many of us still fail to leverage the Star Trek type technology that's available to all of us. If a field trial looks good, the people that you work with or work for tend to feel more confident in the data that you generate. Communication in the form of creating photos or video content goes a long way to building confidence between parties. This is especially true during the pandemic when stakeholders are unable to visit field trial sites. Leverage going virtual to impress your clients. Go above and beyond, i.e., capture or send photos or videos throughout the season that can help your clients make decisions that they need to make. So when preparing for a virtual field tour, I think communication is key, as well as what are the expectations for the virtual field tour. Understand what the trial is, what it's about, maybe what the key questions are, so that you can focus your attention to answering some of those questions and bringing value to the client or whoever you're working with. Another thing I would suggest is practice. Have a script in your head and go through it a couple of times in a dry run, and then go for it. Being swift and succinct is also preferable. No videos over 5 minutes would be my preference, and anything under 3 minutes would be preferred. Next, I just want to talk briefly on shots and the composition of the video or photo. You don't have to be a professional, but there's some things that you can think about. So, what is of interest? Is this a tolerance trial? Is it an efficacy trial? Are you trying to capture the entire plot, or are you just trying to focus on the pest or the stage of the pest or the symptoms of the crop or the symptoms of the pest? So focus on that and try to make every image that you capture uniform so you can compare plot to plot or image to image. So conducting a truly live virtual tour is a novel approach that can really bring the people that you work with to the trial in a way that was previously impossible. There are many benefits to a live virtual tour approach, including the interaction aspect between the viewer and the host. Viewers can direct the host to different plots, look at different angles, and really provide that interactive experience. I've heard of even drones flying and broadcasting video signals into the internet for the tour attendees to see. Another benefit is there could be less prep work, and like you don't have to edit the videos or create PowerPoint presentations. Kind of everything's live in the moment. One of the drawbacks to this is that it's using technology which could fail. So many of your sites may not have a good internet or good, maybe out of a signal range of good cell phone signal. And you might need to practice to ensure that what you're doing is deliberate and smooth. One thing you're probably giving up is high resolution imagery. It's just not going to be there. However, this could be a fit for those ad hoc conversations where you and a client are talking with each other, and they want to beam from their office into the field and do a quick check on maybe a particular treatment, for example. However, I found that the pre-recorded virtual tour presentations bring the most value. You can produce rich, high-quality visual presentations and compile it in a way to make it very succinct. I also like the potential of creating a time series, so you can go and you can capture content from various assessment dates throughout the season and compile it together into one to kind of show that trend over time. And lastly, these presentations, they can last, forever. They can be saved, archived for use down the road if you need that. I'm aware of some of the drawbacks of pre-recording these presentations. It takes a lot of time, planning, and prep work, as well as you need to gain some technical skills if you are to start editing video. But I believe that's often an investment that is worth the payoff. For both live tours and pre-recorded tours, I experimented using both Microsoft Teams and Zoom video conferencing. And the verdict is that I didn't find a whole lot of difference between them. Live tours while walking around the field using 4G cell phone signal is possible, and it definitely worked. But the video signal was up and down, and it was never really sharp. Sometimes it was just more frustrating than anything, but your experience may be a little bit different. I found the most room to grow with these video conferencing apps is sharing pre-recorded video. You can either have choppy, high-resolution video or smoother, low-resolution, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. So similar to how you are watching this pre-recorded video now, I found that my success came when I pre-recorded a video and I uploaded it and allowed everyone to individually access that video instead of me sharing it from my computer over Zoom. With regards to security, if the meetings are password protected, they should be secure from cyber attacks. If they're not password protected, I would say be aware. In April 2020, I was subject to a Zoom bombing cyber attack in which I was giving a similar presentation to this, and teenagers joined the unpassworded meeting and proceeded to interrupt the meeting, swear, and draw with the annotation tool on the screen. And yeah, it was just a pretty unsettling experience overall. It's 2021, and drones have almost become a standard equipment for research trials. I've seen my fair share of striking aerial photography in which untreated checks can see plain as day, or various filters were used such as NDVI to highlight differences between treatments. To the right is an example of a particular trial which can be utilized to show different plots and really give you an understanding of what's going on in this trial.
Alright, I wanted to give a brief tutorial about how I make slideshow presentations for tours using the photos that I've taken of the plots. So just for a demonstration, I've taken 12 photos. Let's say there's 12 treatments in this trial and I have one from each rep and they're all here. What I'm going to do is, instead of selecting them all because I don't want to fill up the whole slide with a bunch of small pictures, let's use 6 out of the 12, and we'll make 2 different slides, and then we'll actually be able to see some detail. We could even go down to 4 or fewer, depending on your shots, if they're linear, if they're portrait or landscape. It's really up to you. So let's drag those here. Now these photos I took with a Canon camera, so they're about 20 megapixels. They're a little bit large, So when I drag them across, it took some time. And there it is. So there's 6 actually photos on here. And what I did first was I actually deleted like the text boxes and stuff on there. And what the newer version of PowerPoint actually does is it has design ideas that it puts up on the side of the screen, which is really, really brilliant. So there's a lot of different pictures, but obviously what I'm looking at first is this one here. And that's the one I want to use. So and if these design ideas don't initially pop up, you can get them to pop up, I believe, by going to the design tab up here, where you can change like your background and going over to the side and clicking on the design idea with the with this lightning bolt. Anyways, let's just click on this, double click, I guess, and bingo, they show up in perfect setup, and you could be done as long as you know which treatments those plots are. If you don't, well, you should. They should all be labeled, but you might have to label them. And there's another route that we can do. So let's create a new slide, and I'm going to delete these text boxes because they get in the way and they don't make things work the way that we want to. And let's bring these pictures up again. We'll drag them. So same thing as we did last time. Bring them in. Now what I'm going to do is make sure I go over to this Format tab, which I'm here already. And I'm going to go to here to Picture Layout. And there's a bunch of different types of layouts you can use. You may have seen some of these in other presentations if you've never used them yourself. But it's not working right now because I only have one of the pictures highlighted. So what I'm going to do, there's pictures behind here, right? There's 6 pictures all stacked. I'm just going to press Control A, and that highlights everything, as you can see, or it selects everything. And then I'm going to go to Picture Layout, and I like using this one. So let's click on this one, and now we got a very similar picture layout compared to the previous slide. Not quite the same, but this one has text boxes built in. And if they don't come with this box on the slide, you can click this text pane box here, which is we're still in this Design tab, and you can type in treatment. If you want treatment 1 to 6. No, not treatment exclamation mark. Treatment 1 and treatment 6. I'm going to highlight that and copy it. Oop, I did not want to do that. So sorry, that one was treatment 2. Down this one. Treatment 3, treatment 4, treatment 5, and treatment 6. So now you have them labeled. They're looking pretty good. Although I don't really like how big the font is. So I'm going to click on each one of these small text boxes, hold down my Control key so I can click multiple, and I'm just going to go and make this text a little bit smaller. It's just a bit too big for me. And honestly, let's go there. Honestly, I think this cloudy area behind it was a bit too big too. So I'm going to shrink all of those. We'll have them, and bingo. You have all of your treatments here ready to go. If you want, if you want to fill up the screen like the previous slide, that can be done as well. Select them all. I think I press Control, or is it Shift to keep them all? No, I don't want to do that. I want to hold Shift. If you hold Shift, then you can't mess with their dimensions. They'll always stay the right dimensions. And that didn't work too well, so maybe disregard. Maybe disregard what I said. Just keep them that size. I don't think you can go any bigger. I'm going to undo my last couple of steps so they're back to normal. And there we go. If I wanted to put all 12 in one, I could try. This might take a little bit more time or computation power. Okay, so all 12, and we'll see how it looks. Now, when I have this many pictures, I'm guessing that it's not going to have any design ideas for me. I think it's limited to the amount of pictures or text box that you have in. I use it sometimes. It makes your presentation look a little bit more polished than it really is by just clicking on that, and all of a sudden it gives you a cool design. It looks like you slaved over your presentation for a long time when you really didn't, or I really didn't, I should say. Design. So we want to go to the Design tab, Design Ideas. It's not offering them, so I'm guessing it doesn't work. And it's not even opening for me, so it doesn't look like it's gonna work. let's go back. Oh, there it is. No design table. No design ideas. Okay, we'll just get rid of that. And let's highlight everything, Control A, and we'll go back to this format, picture layout. We'll try this same approach, click on this one, and there you go. So it actually doesn't look too bad. These pictures are a lot smaller, and it does crop in. So that's one thing to note. You can change the way that it crops in. Let's see if I can change that. It doesn't seem like I can here. You might be able to change the way that it crops in and what's highlighted, but I'm not going to go into that too much of that. Oh yeah, hits here, crop. So yeah, you can see that it did crop in. If there's a part of the picture that you want to highlight, like so, you can move it around. Go into the crop button, and oh yeah, this side looks worse. Whatever. And there you go. So that's pretty quickly, as long as you have your pictures labeled, you can bring them into PowerPoint and make them into a grid like this to present in your presentations to your clients or whoever you're working with. All right, now I want to do a very brief video editing tutorial. This can be fairly easy. If you have a Windows PC, Windows 10, all you have to do is open up your Start menu, type Video Editor, and it's built right into your Windows Photos app. Don't tell me why, but there it is. It used to be called Windows Movie Maker, but it's just called Video Editor now. And so I started a new project. So let's just name this NAICC. There we go. So we just want to drag our photos. Or drag our videos. So I just have some videos here. There's a handful of them. Let's say this is the videos of all of the footage that I got from the field that I want to share in my video. And I need to compile it and kind of build it together so that I can easily share it. All right, now all my videos are imported into my project library, and I can pull them into my timeline and line them up the way I want them, similar as you would slides in PowerPoint. So let's drag them down here, and it just adds them. Is this the order? No, I don't really want them in this order. Just looking at them, I want the combine first. Then I want the chopper on the back of the combine. Actually here, this is me introducing it. Actually, I don't really need these combine. Let's leave them in there. This is me introducing the trial. This is me looking at some of the plots. And let's say, okay, what do I do next? Well, I need to trim. And you can trim each one of these shots fairly easy. So let's open up this one. So this is the combine. Let's trim it. It's a little bit too long. I only want it for when the combine's kind of like right in front of the screen, and I can use these little bookends kind of. And there, now this is, what is that, about a minute, or sorry, 2 seconds, I believe. It's, say that's 2 seconds long, and now that original, that part of the video, oh, we went in already. This part of the video is 2 seconds long only, or something like that. So trimming is very easy. If I want to split, let's say this is one particular, me looking at the plots or kind of showing the plots, and before I split it, what I want to do is actually, let's put in text. Let's say that this is, let's go to classic. Let's say this is treatment 1 that we're looking at. Treatment 1. That shows up on the screen just for the first little bit. I guess that's a second. I think that's what that means, is a second. Done. But hold on. If we look at this particular one, let's say I go to treatment 1 and I go to treatment 2, and there's no cut there. And unfortunately, with the way that this Windows Movie Maker, Windows Video Editor works, I only have the ability to put in one treatment. So what I'm going to have to do is cut this in half and then do treatment 1, then treatment 2, because I've got 2 different treatments here. So I can do that by using the split key, or the split, and I can just scroll this along, where I want it to be cut. So let's say this is me looking at treatment 1, and there, I'm done looking at treatment 1, and now I'm going to go look at treatment 2, so I want the split right there. So let's say I'm done with that one. I think this is just a little slow. And so now I have two clips here. This is the first half and this is the second half. So I now click on the second half, go and I can type in here, now I want treatment 2. Done. So now if we go from here, it says treatment 1 on the screen for about a second, and I'm talking about some of the weeds that I'm seeing. For example, I'm taking this camera just with the GoPro attached to my head. And maybe that's where I wanted treatment 2. So maybe I should have looked at that a little bit different. One other thing that you can do, you can add a title slide. So add title card. Well, we don't want it there. We want it at the start here. We can add text to it if we want. Lose the boom. And this is our field tour. Field tour. I'm sure you can put this anywhere you want. I'm guessing you can probably change the background color, and I've seen people make all sorts of things on Movie Maker, but you can change the duration of that too. Right now it's 3 seconds. So if we start from the start, it says field tour. It's about 3 seconds long. Goes to my combine, goes to the chopper. Let's say now we're done and we want to export it. I believe you just hit the finish video up there and it'll save it. And away you go. I want to show you a little bit of a tutorial about how to use my drone, or how I use my drone. Now this is one of the Mavic Minis. It's $399, but it's an insanely powerful drone, and I use the software called DroneLink to fly over areas if I want to stitch areas together. For example, if you're out in your field plots and you want to take imagery, use that imagery for a virtual tour, this would be an option that you would want. So go to DroneLink. It cost me $20 to get the software, which is insanely powerful, and I'm going to show you a little something. So this is my neighborhood. I'm going to go just to these baseball fields here, and I want to sit here, and I'm going to take off, let's say from the pitcher's mound. So I'm going to take off. This is a baseball field. I'm doing it here. You may be doing it in your research site, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to do it here. Start a new flight plan, a new mission. That's the speed I'm going at. Everything is defaulted here, fine. I've looked at this before. I want to do a mapping. So this mapping tool cost me, the DroneLink with the mapping cost me $20. And so let's say I just want to fly this area here, and I have the Mavic Mini. I want to go at 30 meters, and I want a 70% overlap from picture to picture. And so that Photoshop will be able to stitch these photos together and create a large panoramic we call orthomosaic. I want my gimbal at my camera to be at 90 degrees, so pointing straight down, and I want to photo capture every 2 seconds, and that's it. Boom. And so it'll do that. I can move this around like so. I can make it bigger and I can make it smaller. If I just want to go to the 4 corners of the field like so, I can grab these elements and move them like so. I don't want to go over anybody's house. Obviously, when flying a drone, you have to make sure that you're certified and that you're flying in an area where you have permission to fly. If there's baseball games going on, I would not have permission to fly because I'll be going there when it's vacant. During March in Canada, there's not much going on by means of baseball, and so I'll be going. I don't want to fly over any buildings, and honestly, because this Mavic Mini is under 249 grams, it really doesn't fall under the drone program that we have here in Canada, hence why they make it 249 grams. Once you get to 250, then there's restrictions, you need certifications and such. So make sure whenever you fly your drone, you're certified not only by your country, but by your company as well, because there's other repercussions that I'm not going to get into. But yes, I just wanted to show how easy it would be to fly over your fields, collect images, stitch them together in Photoshop, and then just clip out the different images from above just to show in a presentation like this. So let's go and see if we can fly this field. Okay, I'm back from the drone flight. I had problems with my phone out at the baseball field. I got back home, fixed my phone. I ended up just flying over top of my house, just my yard. I collected what looks like 75 photos, and we're going to see if we can merge them together in Photoshop here. And Photoshop's pretty easy. File, automate. I can do a photo merge, so kind of create a collage. And I'm just gonna browse to my folder. I wanna select everything in that folder, go OK. It'll import it in. It'll work some magic, and out the end we're gonna have a stitched image out of all those 75 images are gonna stitch into one and be high resolution image over a large area. So let's just make it happen. And here we have it. This is the photo mosaic. It is completely done. The photo merge didn't take too long. And now we have a high resolution photograph of a larger area, and you can present this entire photo, or you can crop out particular treatments or plots that you want to highlight for your own virtual field tour. Anyways, that's all I have for you today, and thanks for coming and for watching. Take care.